माननीय सभासदों, माननीय सभापति जी,
क्वेश्चन नंबर 181 श्री मुजीबुर खान जी। माननीय मुजीबुल्लाह खान जी, माननीय मुजीबुल्लाह खान नॉट प्रेजेंट, आंसर लेट। फर्स्ट सप्लीमेंट्री श्री अमर पटनायक जी।
Honorable Deputy Chairman, sir. So through you, I would like to ask this question. So Orissa produces more than 60% of the coal production in the country, and it is supplied to rest of the country. But the coal cess, which is levied as clean energy cess, has now been appropriated towards GST compensation. So there is no incentive and no compensation for the state that produces the coal, which is Orissa. Coal production results in environmental degradation. There is no care and concern or allocation of funds to take care of this, which was initially to be made from this clean energy cess. Honorable Chief Minister of Orissa had written to the Government of India to consider allocating 60% of this collection towards Orissa so that it could be used for environmental regeneration. I would like to know from the Honorable Minister what is Government of India's thinking on this.
Thank you.
Sir, basically question is on increase of royalty, but the Honorable Member has specifically questioned about the cess. The cess is initially, as he rightly quoted, it was a clean energy cess, now it is for the GST compensation, it is being used. But as far as this issue is concerned, this is, I am specifically what state governments are getting over and above royalty. Now we are doing auction also. And not only that, DMF is added to it, and also for the exploration and other things, states except the states of royalty and DMF, and also DMF is added, after that NMET is added. And also now the Odisha is doing extremely well. Odisha is doing so well that their revenue has gone up like anything. And there still more is required, and you come out with, we have already given you number of coal blocks and number of mines. And let me complete. And whatever the Odisha government has requested, we have honored. And now all put together, including 2.5% GST which goes to the state, DMF and NMET and royalty, all put together, now 21% state is getting, and as of now the suggestion is not under consideration.
Thank you. Srimati Fauzia Khan ji.
With the recent approval of the e-auction of coal, opening the window for many other sectors, this is going to open the window for many other sectors, whether the government will revisit its intention to revise the rates of royalty now at least?
No, that's what I have already replied. All put together, after 2014 when the royalty was hiked or increased, rather revised, after that, NMET is added, DMF is added, and GST 2.5% is also added. And it is on ad valorem basis. Whenever the prices of the coal goes up, or any mine for any mineral for that matter, that much will be added because it is on percentage, ad valorem basis. So that's why, as of now, it is not under consideration, because if you increase the coal royalty, 100 rupees per ton, if you increase, then 6 paisa there will be increase per unit of the electricity. And it doesn't just affect, it is a cascading effect will be there. It is not just that it is just one coal price per ton is or royalty is increased. It steel, cement, so many other things, and including the consumer will be, he will be in the loss or he has to face the consequences. That's why that is not under consideration as of now.
Thank you. Mani M. Thambidurai.
Thank you, Deputy Chairman. Just now, Minister replied that even the royalty of the coal is not nowadays not going to increase. You know very well, sir, Railway Lignite Corporation is a big corporation in Tamil Nadu. It is producing a lot of coal and generating power and supplying throughout all other states also. Kerala, Karnataka also are sharing it. Therefore, at the same time, the state governments are demanding more money to further to improve it, whatever getting benefits that has to be given to Tamil Nadu. Otherwise, and at the same time, Tamil Nadu is facing shortage of coal now. Many times, many ministers have come represented to the minister, auto minister, requesting supply the coal. Therefore, let the other ministers come forward to increase the fund available from Naval Corporation to develop Tamil Nadu. At the same time, whether he will give the more coal to the Tamil Nadu for the shortage of this thing.
Sir, question is related to the royalty and I have replied that.
Yes.
As far as Neyveli is concerned, we are ready to supply electricity and we have also have the PPA and many other things with the state government. And many a time state itself, they are surrendering the power which is supposed to be supplied to the state government by the Neyveli Lignite Corporation. So whatever other things, may it be the job for the Tamilians and many other such things, Neyveli is doing, and even CSR activity also we are doing it. So now and coal, as far as supply of the coal is concerned, whenever normally Tangenco used to import it, but now the import price have highly increased. Now they are demanding more coal, but we are trying to meet out their demand.
Thank you. Question number 182, Mani Shri K.R. Suresh Reddy ji. Not available. Mani Mantri ji.
सभा पटल पर रख दिया गया.
First supplementary, Mani Shri GVL Narsim Rao.
With regard to the management of river basins, Honorable Minister has replied that one of the steps, one of the ways this river water resources management is done is by establishment of boards or authorities for water resources management in various river basins. But in respect of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, in respect of management of water, Krishna and Godavari waters, a gazette notification was issued by the central government on 15 July 2021 to regulate supply of water between the two states. But both the states, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, have not yet handed over the projects as per the gazette notification. The projects have not been handed over. At least Andhra Pradesh government has issued, sir, just half a minute, sir. Andhra Pradesh government has issued at least an order, but not handed over operational control. But Telangana government has not even taken note of this gazette notification and not issued any order. So I think because of this, the projects, a lot of projects are in the limbo. I would request the Honorable Minister to tell us how can this implementation of this gazette, how can this be made effective? If the states are not cooperating, what kind of action can the central government contemplate? Thank you.
पति महोदय, मूलतः प्रश्न ये था कि हमारे अंतर्राज्यीय जल विवादों के लिए कोई तटस्थ पक्ष की नियुक्ति है या नहीं. जवाब में मैंने बड़े विस्तार से उसमें कहा भी था कि हमेशा से ये व्यवस्था देश के भीतर है जिसमें एक सुप्रीम कोर्ट के न्यायाधीश या पूर्व न्यायाधीश की अध्यक्षता में अंतर्राज्यीय विवादों को निपटाने के लिए नियुक्ति होती है और अगर उनको ज़रूरत लगती है तो वो दो अपने समकक्ष सहयोगियों को उसमें शामिल करके सलाहकार के रूप में रख सकते हैं. मुझे लगता है जो माननीय सदस्य ने कहा है ये प्रश्न वो पहले भी पूछ चुके हैं. मेरा आपके माध्यम से उनसे निवेदन होगा कि जब कभी कोई अंतर्राज्यीय जल विवाद होता है तो उसकी प्रक्रियाएं हैं लगातार और उस पर वो काम चल रहा है. मूलतः ये जल का जो विषय है वो राज्यों का विषय है. दोनों राज्यों की सहमति होनी चाहिए. प्रशासनिक स्तर पर भी बातचीत होती है, मंत्री स्तर पर भी बातचीत होती है। मुझे आपको बताते हुए, आपके माध्यम से सदन को बताते हुए गर्व हो रहा है कि हमारे माननीय मंत्री जी ने इस बीच में लगातार 2 बार बातचीत भी की है और जो अथॉरिटी है वो लगातार बैठ रही है। मैं मानता हूं कि जल्दी से, पर ये सच है कि टर्मिनल्स में काम करते समय दोनों राज्यों की सहमति आवश्यक होती है। सरकार उस पर पूरी तरह से सजग है और लगातार उस प्रयास को कर भी रही है।
धन्यवाद। डॉक्टर श्रीमती अम्मी याज्ञनिक जी।
Sir, I would like to ask the Honorable Minister a very pertinent question. The answer is given in detail, but very surprisingly the 2019 report of the Central Water Commission is not mentioned, where it has mentioned very categorically that almost 12 river basins, which are huge, are not having that water storage capacity. So 3 rivers of Gujarat, Tapi, Sabarmati and another river, all of them are having 20% below storage capacity. Now, if that water commission report is not taken view of by the government, what steps is the government taking to see that this water storage is going to be there as per requirement, and that will affect the climate change also. So I would like a reply from the Honorable Minister on this point.
Thank you.
उपसभापति जी, मैं माननीय सदस्य को धन्यवाद दूंगा और उनकी जानकारी के लिए कहूंगा कि उत्तर में तो हमने कहा भी है, लेकिन बजट के भीतर जो सबसे बड़ी सफलता है, जिस बात के लिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को और मोदी सरकार को बधाई देनी होगी, कि जो नदी जोड़ो अभियान है, ये मैंने पहले ही आपसे कहा है कि दोनों राज्यों की सहमति से होता है। और मैं उत्तर प्रदेश और मध्य प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री को भी सदन के माध्यम से उनका अभिनंदन करता हूँ कि उन्होंने उस गतिरोध को तोड़ा और जो नदी जोड़ने का अभियान था, उस आंदोलन की शुरुआत हुई है। और भारत सरकार ने बजट में 44,000 करोड़ रखे हैं। जो बात आप पूछ रही हैं, उसमें मैं आपसे कहूंगा कि 2 प्रकार के बेसिन हैं, एक तो हिमालयन बेसिन है और दूसरा जो प्रायद्वीपीय बेसिन है। जिनकी आप बात कर रही हैं वो प्रायद्वीपीय बेसिन में आता है, लेकिन उनमें से 13 की डीपीआर बनकर तैयार है। ये और बजट में जब हमने 5 नदी जोड़ो लिंक परियोजनाओं की बात कही है, तो उसमें हमेशा से सिद्धांत ये है भारत सरकार का कि डेफिसिट बेसिन से सरप्लस बेसिन को जोड़ना, जो माननीय सदस्य स्वयं कह रही है। पर मुझे लगता है कि इसमें अंतर्राज्यीय परिस्थितियां होती हैं, उनकी जैसे ही सहमति बनती जाती है, हमारी डीपीआर उसके आधार पर बनती जाती है। अभी तक हमने 13 बेसिन के लिए डीपीआर तैयार किए।
माननीय ऑनरेबल श्री जोस के मनी।
Sir, globally India is ranked
Yes, it's working.
Globally, India is ranked 120th among 122 countries in Water Aids Water Quality Index. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change expenditure for the National River Conservation Program for the last 2 financial years was 0. Now the government has stated that timely and effective implementation will be done. But I think the time is alarming, especially the rivers in the south, in Kerala. If you see the river bed has come up with 1 day of rain, there is flood. Will you take immediate action and also a special package to, to repair these siltation of the river, and the money may be provided to the state?
Thank you.
माननीय उपसभापति महोदय, लगातार जहां तक सवाल आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अभी फिर से कैच द रेन इस अभियान की शुरुआत की है और उसमें वर्षा जल संचयन और जल संरक्षण, जल निकायों की गणना, उनकी बूटेपिंग, सूची तैयार करना, गाद निकालना, जैसा कि माननीय सदस्य ने कहा है। लेकिन अंतोगत्वा यही बात आती है कि जब कभी कोई बांध, उदाहरण के लिए मैं केरल का एक जवाब दूंगा कि बांध केरल में बना हुआ है और पानी का उपयोग तमिलनाडु करता है, उदाहरण के लिए। तो ऐसी स्थिति में अगर उसकी डिसिल्टिंग की बात आती है, तो मुझे लगता है कि दोनों राज्य सरकारों की सहमति के बगैर वो काम हो नहीं सकता। पर यह सच है कि भारत सरकार ने इसकी पूरी मैपिंग की है ताकि हम जल स्रोतों की गणना करें और उसमें अगर कहीं डिसिल्टिंग की जरूरत पड़ती है तो राज्यों को सहयोग के साथ उस काम को गति के साथ आगे बढ़ाएं।
थैंक यू। क्वेश्चन नंबर 183, ऑनरेबल श्री जॉन ब्रिटस।
क्वेश्चन नंबर 183।
माननीय मंत्री जी। First supplementary, Mani John Britus.
So it's a very important matter. I am completely shocked and aghast to see the reply of the Honorable Minister. Sir, 30 years back, his father, late Madhavrao Sindhyaji, declared the open sky policy and permitted even foreign freighters to go to the non-metro airports. And that's why airports like Cochin, Trivandrum all survived. All of a sudden, after 30 years, his department had the audacity to ban the foreign freighters to non-metro airports, thereby crippling the life of the states. Sir, a state like Uttar Pradesh, 21 crores of people. Do you want the products of UP to be brought to Delhi? Except this metro. Sir, the cost has gone up for the exports. It has affected the exports, trade bodies, the farmers, the local population.
Question
and the
briefly.
airport. Sir, it's a very important matter, sir. It affects your state also, sir. It affects your state also.
Please.
Sir, even now, the Commerce Standing Committee unanimously resolved and ordered them. They have to review the policy because you are going back. This is against the declared policy of the Government of India. I
brief question.
doubt. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, my question is that.
Yes.
What was the rational logic? And he says that the Indian operators are sufficient enough. Sir, airport of Cochin, after this new order, only 2 Indian operators flew the goods. And how does... Sir, my point is very simple.
Thank you.
What is the status?
Thank you.
What is the status?
माननीय मंत्री जी, Honorable Minister. Please be brief on questions. मैं पुनः सदस्यों को, माननीय मंत्रियों को भी आग्रह करता हूं. Chairman has already given direction. Please be brief on the question, otherwise I will move to...
It's a very important question, sir.
All questions are important.
Sir, your state is affected.
Please. All questions are important. Please.
Dhanyavad, Upsavapati Mohoday. I would request your indulgence, Upsavapati Mohoday, because I think it's important to give a very detailed response to the Honourable Member. The Honourable Member has raised a very pertinent issue, but I would like to bring some facts before the House through the question that has been asked. Let us understand that the trade in cargo across the world is close to about $270 billion, going to grow to about $375 billion. Air trade to GDP ratio in India today has grown to 4 to 8%. Air cargo sector should double in the next couple of years. Having said that, it's also important to understand the composition of the air cargo business. Scheduled operators conduct 90% of the business. Non-scheduled operators conduct only 10% of the business. And within that 10% of the business also, Upsavapati Mohoday, 98% of that 10% is conducted in the 6 metros. Only 2% is conducted in the other airports in the country. So of the air cargo operations, we are only talking about 0.2%. Now, the question here is, why is this important? The reason this is important is, first of all, let's understand that the air cargo business, all scheduled operators can still fly from all destinations. There is no roke on them, there is no ban on them. Only the NSOP segment, 2% of that, has been restricted for Indian carriers. The cargo that is carried in the belly of aircraft, whether scheduled or unscheduled, does not come under this prohibitory order at all. 71% of all cargo in India today is carried in the belly of passenger aircraft. Third, I'd like to inform the Honourable Member that today, if you look at the breakup between Indian carriers and foreign carriers, look at how badly it is skewed. Indian carriers, belly and dedicated aircraft, freighters, carry only 19% of cargo. 81% is carried by foreign carriers. And if you look at dedicated freighters alone, only 1% is carried by Indian carriers and 99% is carried by foreign carriers. I'm sure that the honorable member, the state that he comes from and the party that he belongs to will fight for the cause of Atmanirbhar Bharat, for the cause of our Indian carriers, and by taking this step, if he asks me a supplementary, I will tell him that in a short amount of time, the results that our Indian carriers have been able to give to the nation, I shall also place before the House.
Thank you. Mani John Brittaji, please be brief, otherwise other members will not get opportunity. Please, second question.
Sir, statistics many a time are obfuscating and confusing. He has tried to confuse. Sir, state of Kerala, say the airport of Cochin, we don't have scheduled foreign freighters because most of the exports are on seasonal, Vishu or Onam. We rely on passenger foreign airlines and also non-scheduled freighters. Sir, what he has done, during this pandemic, none of the foreign passenger flights were there. So there was no belly of the foreign airlines. At that time, he banned the non-scheduled. So
Please,
just
question, next question.
if at all, this is not a substantive number, why did he ban it? If it is insignificant, what was the need for banning it? And third thing, sir, one more point, sir. Has he gone to what is the statistics? What are the number of Indian freighters operated in the absence of non-scheduled foreign freighters? Has he got the statistics? Let him submit that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sabhapati Moday, and I would like to thank the honorable member for asking that supplementary.
Please.
I would like...
Have patience to listen.
I am responding to him in a very calm voice, so I request the honorable member to please hear my answer. Thank you very much. So the question that has been asked is very pertinent, that what has this policy resulted in? Has it actually given advantage to our cargo business? Has it given advantage to our Indian freighters? And it's a very pertinent question. So I'd like to put the points before the honorable member. First, because of COVID, please understand that all of our carriers were almost entering a period of insolvency. This has given a glimmer of hope for our carriers domestically within India. What has it resulted in? It has resulted in the following 4 points. First, the number of freighters in India that were limited in 2018 only to 8. In a period of 3 years, that number has jumped to 28. So we have almost increased our domestic freighter capacity by almost 3.5 times. That's point number one. So therefore, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Indian carriers are beginning to stand on their own feet. And I'm sure that the party he belongs to, this is an ideology that he would support. Otherwise, they should not take a different stand with regard to other issues, with regard to the economy and with regard to civil aviation. If you support this stand, then I can understand you taking a different stand on other issues. But if you oppose this stand and you want foreign carriers to carry you there, then you must not take a different stand with regard to other issues on civil aviation or other economic issues from your state point of view. Point number one. Point number two, sir. Indian Airlines have modified 150 passenger aircraft to be able to carry cargo in belly as well as the seat areas. So therefore, our cargo capacity, in addition to the freighters increasing from 8 to 28, even our passengers have gone from, if I may use the term, P to C, passenger to cargo, 150 planes. Third, sir, May 19 to May 21, what was our share of international cargo traffic movements? A measly 1.8%.
Please.
A measly 1.8%. Today, in a period of 2 years, that share of traffic has grown from 1.8% to 19%, sir. That is what we have been able to achieve in the last 2 years as far as cargo traffic is concerned. And finally,
मैं सबको request कर रहा हूँ, please. No, to all members.
You are asking us to be short. Minister come to one.
मैंने please, डेरिक जी आपको परमिशन नहीं बोलने का. एक तो नंबर वन. नंबर टू, I will clear it. मैंने शुरू में आपने सुना नहीं, ध्यान से सुना कर ये प्रोसीडिंग मैंने स्पष्ट कहा था कि माननीय मंत्री का और माननीय सदस्य दोनों से आग्रह है. I repeated it. नहीं, आई रिपीटेड इट सर। आप चेयरपर्सन फॉर कमेंट्स मत करिए प्लीज।
मेरी आखिरी निवेदन है, मैं उत्तर नहीं दे सकता जो इनको अच्छा लगे, वो मेरा काम नहीं है। मुझे वास्तविकता सदन के समक्ष रखना होगा। मेरा आखिरी पॉइंट है, रेवेन्यू हैज ग्रोन फ्रॉम इन द लास्ट 1 year, रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम कार्गो हैज ग्रोन फ्रॉम 1498 crores to 2,300 crores. So Indian air freighters and airlines and cargo airlines are beginning to stand on their own feet, and that's what we want in Atmanirbhar Bharat.
माननीय सदस्यगण प्लीज, मैंने बार बार क्वेश्चन और शुरू होने के बाद इस सत्र में सबसे आग्रह किया है, सदस्यों से किया है, मंत्रियों से किया है, और माननीय सारे वरिष्ठ सदस्यों को मैं कहता हूं, सबको कहता हूं, रिकॉर्ड निकाल कर देखें। पर मैं अगर आप उन अनुदेशों का जो माननीय चेयरमैन नहीं देने, बार बार वो कह रहे हैं, बता रहे हैं, नहीं पालन करते हैं, हाउ आई शुड प्रोसीड, आप तय करें। श्रीमती झरना दास बैद प्लीज।
मैं आपके माध्यम से
क्वेश्चन
मंत्री जी से ये पूछना चाहती हूँ।
माइक काम कर रहा है आप।
थैंक यू सर। आपके माध्यम से माननीय मंत्री जी से ये पूछना चाहती हूँ, माननीय मंत्री जी कुछ दिन पहले अगरतला इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट, महाराजा वीर विक्रम एयरपोर्ट चालू किया है, लेकिन फॉरेन अभी तक बांग्लादेश फ्लाइट भी चालू नहीं हुआ। लेकिन एक फ्लाइट अगरतला से दिल्ली टू अगरतला जो एयर इंडिया फ्लाइट है, एक ही फ्लाइट है, वो भी 27 मार्च से बंद हो रहा है। ये क्यों बंद हो रहा है आज तक हम लोगों को समझ में नहीं आया। कोई पैसेंजर का कमी नहीं है, तो ये क्यों बंद हो रहा है ये मैं जानना चाहती हूँ।
धन्यवाद।
ये प्रश्न कार्गो पर है, पर जो माननीय सांसद जी ने प्रश्न उठाया है, अगर आकर मुझसे मिलेंगे इस पर हम जरूर चर्चा करेंगे। सिविल एविएशन सेक्टर अब रेगुलेटेड सेक्टर नहीं है। हम लोग क्रियान्वयन और कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते कि कौन सा एयरलाइन कहाँ फ्लाई करे, लेकिन जरूर आके जरूर मिलेंगे तो इस पर हम लोग विचार विमर्श करेंगे।
माननीय श्री नरेश गुजराल जी।
Point for following this policy of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The flip side, sir, is that is the minister aware that today Indian carriers are refusing to pick up cargo for the last
10 days in a place like Delhi even. Exporters are facing cancellations, and the reality is that in the name of Atmanirbhar Bharat, India will suffer, Bharat will suffer, because exporters will get cancellations. And will the minister take immediate steps to redress this issue? Thank you.
This is not a fact. I would like to refute that on the floor of this House. In fact, our cargo airlines revenue numbers have gone up by almost 50%. Our cargo airlines also expanding very, very rapidly. And I am sure that in the coming days, even if there is an issue temporarily for a day or two, that will be resolved. There will be no issue with regard to export of cargo from Delhi or any other city in India.
Thank you. Srimati Dola Sen ji, please, Dola Sen ji, no, please, Dola Sen ji, no. माननीय नरेश जी, आपने सवाल पूछ लिया, प्लीज उसके लिए प्रक्रिया है, अगर आप
whatever be the central government's policy of selling our national carrier Air India or notification of DGCA of restricting foreign cargo carriers to land all over, I want to ask the Honorable Civil Aviation Minister that all this policy of Atmanirbhar Bharat of your government are creating joblessness to lot. How to justify this policy of increasing unemployment by Atmanirbhar Bharat policy? Thank you.
Up Sabhapati Mohoday, as far as this question is concerned, let me say this, that the civil aviation sector is one of the sectors that has the greatest economic multipliers and employment multipliers across any country in the world. We have an economic multiplier of almost 3.1. The effects of 1 rupee of investment creates 3.1 rupees worth of output in civil aviation. Similarly, in the area of employment, every direct job that is created through civil aviation gives almost close to 6.1 indirect jobs created through civil aviation. Therefore, the growth of civil aviation is most important, and in the last 7 years, what has been made possible under this government. We had 74 airports in the country prior to 2014. Today we have added 66 more airports under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and we've gone to 140 airports, and by 24-25 we will go to 220 airports and increase civil aviation in the country.
Thank you. Now question number 184. 184, Mani Sayyid Nasir Hussain, please.
Sir, question number 184.
Mani Mantri.
Sir, answer is tabled.
Thank you. First supplementary.
Sir, I went through the answer. It just mentions about the passenger movement, but I was actually asking about the overall growth of aviation sector, especially in Karnataka, sir. I thought he would be giving us information about the airport infrastructure, number of new destinations, number of flights, jobs, and also the revenue earned. But he has just given the passenger movement information in this. I want to ask a specific question. It's regarding Ballari, from where I come from. Land for the airport was given long back. Land was already acquired. Work was started, and I don't know for what reason the work has stopped there. And this is also the case with Raichur Airport and many other airports in Karnataka. I want to ask the minister, when will the work start and when will it be completed?
Thank you.
Sir, as far as what the member has asked with regard to passenger movement in Karnataka and infrastructure in Karnataka, Karnataka has always been a bellwether state in terms of growth in civil aviation. Roughly, it composes of 10% of the civil aviation traffic in the country. In the last year, prior to pandemic, we had total passengers in the country of close to about 3.5 crores, of which Karnataka had contributed close to about 35 lakhs. And we are looking at a steady progression in the years to come. Close to 404 million passengers in the year 23-24, of which Karnataka again will contribute close to about 10%, which is about 40 million. As far as Bellary Airport is concerned, Upsapapati Mahoday, this is a state government airport. We have been in conversation with the state government. The state government had entered into an agreement with a private party to put in place this airport. Unfortunately, for multiple reasons, that has not been possible. The state government has taken legal opinion, and we have said very clearly that they should take whatever action to make sure that this construction starts as soon as possible.
Please, thank you.
Second.
Mani Praful,
Sir, second.
Please, second supplementary.
So again, the minister has missed mentioning about the jobs, flights, new destinations, and the revenue earned in Karnataka. He's just mentioning about the passenger. And again regarding Ballari, the work has been stopped. He has still not mentioned when will the work start and when will it be completed. So my second question is the government thinking of opening up defense airstrips to civilians in the places where there are no airports, especially in places like Karwar in Karnataka, where a new naval airstrip is coming up? Will these kind of defense airstrips will be opened for civilians, especially where there are no airports?
Thank you.
I categorically answered the honourable member with regard to the Bellary Airport, and I have mentioned very clearly that the state government has to take a decision whether to terminate the agreement with the party or not. That is the state government's decision. We have given them an advisory that they can go ahead and do it. As far as using defense airports, naval or air, for civil aviation purposes, we are in dialogue with the Ministry of Defence on multiple airstrips. And we are seeing wherever there is a demand for air connectivity, those airstrips, we are directly in dialogue with the Defence Ministry to be used to be able to develop under UDAN, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, to provide connectivity to those areas.
Thank you. Mani Praful Patel ji.
धन्यवाद उपसभापति महोदय। मंत्री महोदय ने सिविल एविएशन के ग्रोथ के बारे में तो अच्छे आंकड़े बताए हैं। मुझे भी सौभाग्य रहा है कि इस जो इनके आज के प्रयास है उसमें कुछ योगदान पूर्व में देने का भी मौका मिला। सवाल उनको एक और धन्यवाद भी दे दूं कि मेरे गृहनगर गोंदिया से उन्होंने उड़ान के माध्यम से पहली वहाँ से नागरिक विमान सेवा की शुरुआत की, तो उसके लिए भी आपको धन्यवाद। सवाल मेरा एक ही है कि जितने भी छोटे शहरों को हम जोड़ रहे हैं, ये सारे शहरों को, चाहे मुंबई हो, दिल्ली हो, कलकत्ता हो, बेंगलोर हो, हैदराबाद हो, ऐसे शहरों के साथ यातायात के लिए आवश्यकता है। बाकी शहरों के बीचों बीच आपस में जो यातायात होती है उसकी आवश्यकता है, लेकिन कम है। हर आदमी इन बड़े शहरों के माध्यम से जुड़ना चाहता है। आज अभी जैसे आपको मैंने उदाहरण दिया गोंदिया का, गोंदिया को आपने जोड़ा है हैदराबाद और इंदौर के साथ, खुशी की बात है, लेकिन गोंदिया महाराष्ट्र में है, वहां के व्यक्ति को मुंबई आना होगा और मुंबई में हवाई स्लॉट मिलता नहीं है उतरने के लिए। वही हालत दिल्ली में भी बहुत उसकी तंगी है, वही हालत चेन्नई में है, वही हालत कलकत्ते में है। तो मेरा उनसे ये निवेदन है कि जो छोटे शहरों को जोड़ने की उड़ान के माध्यम से योजना है, सराहनीय है, लेकिन जब तक उन छोटे शहरों को बड़े मेट्रोस के साथ नहीं जोड़ा जाएगा, तो जो उसकी उपयुक्तता है या जो उसकी सफलता हम चाहते हैं, आप चाहते हैं, उसमें कहीं ना कहीं रुकावट आएगी। तो इसके बारे में आपकी टिप्पणी क्या है?
धन्यवाद।
क्या मुझे
धन्यवाद प्रफुल्ल।
धन्यवाद उपसभापति महोदय। माननीय सांसद महोदय ने बहुत उम्दा सवाल पूछा है और ये सत्य है उपसभापति महोदय कि हम लोगों की आशा और अभिलाषा है कि छोटे शहरों को हम बड़े शहरों के साथ जोड़ें, और इस तारतम्य में एक जरूर विसंगति है कि जो हमारे बड़े बड़े शहर में एयरपोर्ट्स हैं उनकी कैपेसिटी पूर्ण रूप से इस्तेमाल की जा रही है। इसलिए कई बड़े शहरों के एयरपोर्ट्स में विस्तारीकरण की योजना चल रही है। उदाहरण के तौर पर दिल्ली में आज करीब 7 करोड़ पैसेंजर्स दिल्ली के एयरपोर्ट से निकलते हैं, और हमारी कोशिश है कि दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट को हम लोग 10 करोड़ की कैपेसिटी तक हम लोग ले जाएं। उस विस्तारीकरण की योजना आज चल रही है। जेवर में नया एयरपोर्ट की आधारशिला प्रधानमंत्री जी के द्वारा रखा गया है। 2024 तक करीब 1 करोड़ 20 लाख की कैपेसिटी का पहला फेज वहां तैयार हो जाएगा। तो पूरी उत्तरी भारत की ट्रैफिक जेवर में भी पहुंचने की हमारी आशंका है। वैसे मुंबई के लिए भी हम लोग नवी मुंबई की एयरपोर्ट की शुरुआत कर रहे हैं और वो भी अगले 3 साल तक तैयार हो जाएगी। हमारी कोशिश है कि छोटे शहरों को हम बड़े शहरों के साथ जोड़ें और बड़े शहरों में कैपेसिटी एक्सपेंशन भी करें। इस लक्ष्य की पूर्ति के लिए हम लोग पूरी तरह से संकल्पित हैं।
धन्यवाद मंत्री जी। माननीय मनोज कुमार झा जी।
प्रश्न छोटा भी है और प्रश्न में आग्रह भी है। आग्रह महत्वपूर्ण है माननीय सिविल एविएशन मिनिस्टर साहब से कि पूर्णिया एयरपोर्ट एक है, टेक्निकली फौज से रिलेटेड है, लेकिन सर 16-17 जिले न सिर्फ बिहार के बल्कि बंगाल के भी कई इलाकों को उससे मदद मिलेगी। तो मैं इस आग्रह को सवाल की चादर में आपके समक्ष रख रहा हूं। दरभंगा एयरपोर्ट, सर मैं टिप्पणी यही खत्म करूंगा। दरभंगा एयरपोर्ट वो चिंता का विषय, वहां उड़ान हो रही है, काफी पैसेंजर मूवमेंट है, लेकिन बुनियादी सुविधाएं वहां नहीं है। अगर इस दृष्टिकोण से बिहार पर आपकी नजरें इनायत हो तो पूर्णिया एयरपोर्ट चालू हो जाए तो हम लोग साथ उड़ेंगे। शुक्रिया।
धन्यवाद मनोज जी।
उपसभापति महोदय, जो माननीय सदस्य ने विषय उठाया है जरूर महत्वपूर्ण है और इस पर हम लोग कोशिश भी कर रहे हैं। प्रदेश सरकार से भी चर्चा हो रही है और रक्षा मंत्रालय के साथ भी चर्चा हो रही है और इस पर हम लोग जरूर प्रयासरत हैं। रक्षा मंत्रालय के द्वारा पूर्णिया एयरपोर्ट की जो एयर स्ट्रिप है उसका उन्नयनीकरण का कार्य वर्तमान में चल रहा है और इसमें जो आप और हम दोनों चाहते हैं कि पूर्णिया एयरपोर्ट की शुरुआत हो, इसमें प्रदेश सरकार के द्वारा जमीन जब हमें मिले उस पर हम लोग कार्य करेंगे और प्रदेश सरकार के साथ हम लोग चर्चा कर रहे हैं कि जल्द से जल्द वो जमीन हमको दें ताकि उस पर हम लोग एक बिल्डिंग और इमारत भी बना पाए ताकि उससे हम लोग हवाई सेवा शुरू कर पाए।
धन्यवाद। माननीय राकेश सिन्हा जी।
सभापति महोदय, मैं पहले तो भारत सरकार को बधाई देना चाहता हूं कि सिविल एविएशन को उन्होंने सामान्य जनता से जोड़ा उड़ान योजना के द्वारा। मैं मंत्री जी से जानना चाहता हूं कि बिहार का एकमात्र औद्योगिक नगर बरौनी बेगूसराय है। दशकों से वहां उड़ान योजना से जोड़ने की मांग हो रही है। क्या भारत सरकार बरौनी बेगूसराय को उड़ान योजना से जोड़ने की पहल करेगी? चूँकि औद्योगिक और सांस्कृतिक केंद्र होने के कारण वहाँ की ट्रैफिकिंग और वहाँ जो पोटेंशियल है अर्निंग की वो बहुत अधिक है। इससे मेरा निवेदन भी है और प्रश्न भी है। धन्यवाद।
सभापति महोदय, ये प्रश्न कर्नाटक के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है। अगर माननीय सांसद महोदय आकर मुझसे चर्चा करेंगे, इस पर हम लोग दोनों बात करके आगे का रास्ता हम लोग तय करेंगे।
धन्यवाद। क्वेश्चन नंबर 185, डॉक्टर वी शिवदासन जी। माननीय मंत्री जी, फर्स्ट सप्लीमेंट्री, वी शिवदासन।
The joblessness is the greatest crisis in our times. Here we see a lot of examples. Sir, crores of youngsters are waiting for a job irrespective of their educational qualifications. Millions of young men and women are preparing for a job in Indian military. They are the sons and daughters of workers and peasants in our nation. In this August House, the minister had given an answer to my question on the vacancies of armed forces. That shows the vacancy in army is above 1,25,000. Same kind of vacancies are in Navy and in Air Force. Youngsters are knocking the doors of authorities, but they are not responding properly. So it should be corrected. So that is why I am raising the question, the number of recruitment in the armed forces, service-wise and year-wise data since 2018.
Thank you. माननीय
जी, मान्यवर, स्पष्ट है उत्तर में आपने 2018 से पूछा है। 2018-19 में 53,431 हमने भारतीय सेना में भर्ती किए और भारतीय नौसेना में 5,885 और भारतीय वायुसेना में 6,862। इतनी संख्या हमने भर्ती की। और इसके बाद 2019-20 में भी भारतीय सेना में हमने 80,572 और भारतीय नौसेना में 6,068 और वायुसेना में 7,222 भर्ती किए। लेकिन 2020-21 और 2021-22 में मान्यवर कोविड आने के कारण सारे प्रोसेस रुक गए हैं, सारे कार्यक्रम हमारे नहीं विश्व के रुके हुए हैं। और जैसे ही ये सब खुलेंगे और जैसे हमको गाइडलाइन मिलेगी, क्योंकि कोविड कम जरूर हुआ है, समाप्त नहीं हुआ है, इसलिए सब लोगों को चौकन्ना रहना है। इस वजह से जब भी ये खुलेगा उसको आगे उस पर विचार किया जाएगा।
Second supplementary, Dr. V.
The minister has suffered the COVID, and my second question is related to that. During this COVID period, the employees has been received special arrangements like working arrangements or special leaves from their employers. Whether the government has taken any kind of steps for the persons in Indian military?
Thank you.
हमने ऑनलाइन में एयरफोर्स और नेवी में ऑनलाइन भर्ती होती है, लेकिन जब ये आर्मी की भर्ती होती है तो उसमें बहुत सारे मेले लगते हैं मान्यवर, बड़ी भीड़ आती है सबसे ज्यादा। तो इसी सुविधा को देखते हुए कोविड फैले नहीं, वो हमने स्थगित किया हुआ है, रोका नहीं हुआ है। यही सुविधा हम इस समय दे सकते हैं।
थैंक यू। नाउ ऑनरेबल KRN राजेश कुमार जी।
Honorable respected Deputy Chairman sir, may the Honorable Minister please provide the details of the category wise backlog vacancies of SC, STs and OBCs in armed force, especially in NDA, NA, CDS examination which are conducted by UPSC and short service commission examination and another various
one question only Rajesh, one question you have.
जी, इसकी सूचना एकत्रित करके बता देंगे। वैसे इससे रिलेटिव नहीं है, जितना पूछा है आपने उसका बताया है, आपको सूचना दे देंगे इसमें।
माननीय वंदना चौहान जी।
For giving me the opportunity. So more than 16 countries in the world allow women in combat roles in armed forces. The government of India has so far refused to allow women in these categories. With right to equality, changing notions of gender norms and pressing demands from several quarters, are there any plans to recruit women in combat roles in the armed forces?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
कहीं पर भी रोक नहीं है, चल रहा है, आप सब जानते हैं।
स्पेसिफिकली कॉम्बैट रोल्स के बारे में नहीं, कॉम्बैट रोल्स में नहीं अलाउ किया है।
नहीं, जो होना है वो कर सकते हैं, जो आगे विचार करना है विचार चल रहा है।
थैंक यू। माननीय महेश पोद्दार जी, माननीय महेश पोद्दार जी, उसकी प्रक्रिया है मैडम, उसकी प्रक्रिया है मैडम, प्लीज।
महोदय,
झारखंड के दक्षिणी आदिवासी बहुल क्षेत्र से फौज में काफ़ी लोग जाते हैं और बीआरओ वगैरह में भी काफ़ी लोग जाते हैं। महोदय, उनके पास फौज में जाना एक विकल्प है या दूसरा उग्रवाद के चंगुल में फंसना एक विकल्प है। महोदय, इस क्षेत्र के लोगों ने श्रद्धेय परमवीर चक्र प्राप्त अल्बर्ट एक्का के द्वारा अपनी वीरता का प्रमाण भी दिया है। 2 साल से नियुक्तियां बंद है। मैं माननीय मंत्री जी से जानना चाहूंगा कि जब भी शीघ्र स्टार्ट होगी तो क्या उस क्षेत्र के लोगों को विशेष अभियान चला करके मौका दिया जाएगा? थैंक यू।
वर्तमान में देश में 11 क्षेत्रीय भर्ती कार्यालय हैं और 2 भर्ती डिपो हैं, जिसमें हम गोरखा रेजिमेंट इत्यादि नेपाल से भी लेते हैं, और एक स्वतंत्र भर्ती कार्यालय है जिसमें एनसीआर के लोगों को लेते हैं यहाँ पर, और 70 हमारे 70 सेना भर्ती कार्यालय हैं। इसलिए कोई भी क्षेत्र अछूता नहीं है, हर क्षेत्र को हम समान अवसर देते हैं। अगर कहीं पर कोई छूट भी जाता है तो हम दोबारा से वहां पर भर्ती करवाते हैं। चूंकि इस समय मैं पहले ही कह चुका हूं, थोड़ा सा विलंब हुआ है कोविड की वजह से, अतिशीघ्र सारे लोगों को बिना जाति, धर्म, वर्ग, क्षेत्र के ऊपर उठकर सबको बराबरी का अवसर हर क्षेत्र को भारत के हर जगह पर मिलता है।
धन्यवाद। माननीय सदस्यगण, किसी भी जवाब से अगर आप असंतुष्ट हैं तो उसके लिए रूल्स और प्रोसीजर के तहत प्रक्रिया है, कृपया उसका पालन करें। क्वेश्चन नंबर 186, श्रीमती प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी।
Sir, thank you, sir. Question number 186.
Please.
Oops, sorry, sir.
Sir, the statement is laid on the table of the House.
Oops, Minister.
Please, आप कुछ।
माननीय उपसभापति महोदय, जो माननीय सदस्यों ने जानना चाहा है रिक्रूटमेंट के बारे में, तो मैं जानकारी देना चाहता हूं कि प्रतिवर्ष 90 से लेकर 100, 90 to 100 यह रैली सारे देश भर में होती है। हमारी आर्मी का यह पूरा प्रयास रहता है कि रैलियों को इस प्रकार से आयोजित किया जाए प्रतिवर्ष, ताकि देश का कोई भी जिला शेष न बचे। यहाँ के यदि युवक उसमें पार्टिसिपेट करना चाहते हैं रैली में, तो उन्हें पार्टिसिपेट करने का अवसर न मिले, ऐसा एक भी जिला शेष न बचे। तो ये लगातार ये एक कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस है, चलता रहता है। और जब भी रैलियाँ होती है, लगभग 90 से लेकर 100 यह रैलियाँ होती हैं, और एक रैली में सामान्यतः 6 से लेकर 8 जिले कवर किए जाते हैं। उपसभापति महोदय, केवल सदन की जानकारी के लिए मैंने यह बात रखी।
धन्यवाद। 186, माननीय प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी जी। माननीय मंत्री जी, फर्स्ट सप्लीमेंट्री प्रियंका जी।
Sir, as per the answer that I have got with regards to my question, the answer says Indian oil and gas public sector undertakings had imported approximately less than 1% of its total crude oil import from Russia in the year 21-22. However, Indian Oil Corporation is also a shareholder, is invested in some of the companies in Russia. Happens to be Rosneft, where British Petroleum has just exited. That has been their call. So will this impact Indian Oil Corporation's investment in that particular company, sir?
Sir, I would like to start by thanking the Honourable Minister for raising a question which is very timely and pertinent. Maybe this reflects my expectation of her political rise, but I apologize. The Honourable Member. Sir, I am particularly grateful to the Honourable Member for having raised this question, because in the context of the ongoing military action in that part of the world, Russia and Ukraine, several issues are being raised. The first supplementary, sir, that the Honourable Member has raised relates to the quantum of imports. The second one, I think, relates to the investment. So insofar as the quantum of imports is concerned, this gives me an opportunity to clarify that in the financial years 2018-19, 19-20, 20-21, and the first 9 months of the current financial year, our total imports of crude from Russia have been 0.6%, 1.3%, 0.3% and 0.2%, which means that even the less than 1% figure of imports from Russia will take a long time to fill at the current rate, because already 9 months of the financial year are over. Insofar as Indian investments in Russia are concerned, sir, our oil companies have invested from the time, sir, if I recall correctly, of Vajpayee's government, something a total of $16 billion. Some of those investments are very profitable, as I've had the opportunity of informing this House on an earlier occasion. Sakhalin 1, for instance, where OVL has, I think, 20% of the share. Our investment of $337 million has resulted in an overall revenue already of about $3.7 billion of oil, of revenue, and we have another 20 years of assets still left there. Sir, the discussion on whether Western oil entities are exiting from some of these facilities, like the honorable member, I have also seen reports in the public domain press. Sir, when we look at some of these, and we are in discussion, we are in fact in discussion with some of these Western oil companies, so the facts on the ground, I think, vary. There is a nuanced approach. Some have indicated an intent to exit. Others have said they will not make fresh investments. But as I said, we are monitoring the situation, and insofar as oil imports are concerned from Russia, contrary to what is being played up in the press, these are minuscule. Even now, the total amount contracted will be less than 3 days supply from India, from Russia to India, and that also spread over the next 3 to 4 months.
Thank you. Second supplementary, Priyanka ji.
Sir, just to put this on the record, as far as British Petroleum is concerned, it has led the BP board to conclude, after a thorough process, that our involvement with Rosneft, a state-owned enterprise, simply cannot continue. So it has stopped. Now, to the second supplementary question, sir, there have been news reports which suggest that India has been, is going to increase its crude oil trade and economic engagements with Russia, considering there's a deep discount going on. Will that conflict, in the ongoing conflict, will that have any kind of diplomatic and economic ramifications as far as our future relations with other countries are concerned? Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, thank you. Through you, I would like to inform the honorable member that the exact words she's quoted, cannot continue. Cannot continue, again, I read as an intent that they would like to bring those arrangements in. But we are in discussion with the highest levels of those companies, and I have no doubt that if those companies were to exit, finally, as some companies are saying, they have no intention to invest further there. But if they are, and if there are economic opportunities that become available, we will certainly look at all those possibilities. Let me mention that the one facility where one of the Western entities is the operator, one of our oil companies has a 20% share. Now, we got worried when we read those reports because if the operator is exiting, then the facility's production will will be undermined. But we were told no, production facilities will continue. So we will discuss on a case-by-case basis with everyone and our oil companies. Sir, we have typically arrangements which are government to government and company to company. The kind of arrangements that the honorable member is mentioning are company to company. One of them is an Indian public sector entity, and on the other side is the Russian state company which he is mentioning. But insofar as increased oil imports are concerned, I would again like to reiterate, in the first 9 months of the year, we have imported only 0.2% of our requirements. Let me give you the exact figures. We require, Madam Honorable Sir, a total of 5 million barrels per day. That's our consumption. 60% of it comes from the Gulf. We have imported from Russia only 0.419 million metric tons out of a total of 175,000, which is less than, well, much less than 1%, 0.2%. Even if we were to scale these up considerably, it would still be a drop, literally a drop in a larger bucket. Thank you.
Mani Neeraj Dangi ji.
Then I would like to ask the Honorable Minister, with your permission, sir, the view of the government on the potential impact on the India-US relations in the light of the rupee-ruble trade oil deal with Russia. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, let me start by saying that India and the United States have a robust bilateral energy relationship. And let me also point out to the honorable member through you that in the financial year 2021, we imported 14 million metric tons of crude from the United States. and that this represented 7.3% of our requirements, as against the less than 1% from the Russian Federation. On the current year, based on our imports from the United States, if I look at the projection, these are likely to go up from 14 million metric tons to 16.8 million metric tons, or a value of about $10 billion of imports of crude oil from the US. If I add to that the amount of gas which we are importing and coal, I think the figure comes closer to $13.5 billion of imports from the United States. So it is a robust relationship on the energy front, and I see this continuing for some time.
Thank you. माननीय अजय बच्चन जी.
पूछना चाहता हूँ.
Please, thank you. माननीय अवीर रंजन जी.
So as we know that up to now, the Russia-Ukraine crisis has not had a bearing on the diesel and petrol prices. But sir, we know kerosene is a poor man's fuel. And most deplorably, this price of kerosene has gone up by more than 200%, from rupees 22 per litre to rupees 45 per litre, and only in a matter of 10 days. I would like to know, is this due to the Russia-Ukraine crisis?
Thank you.
Sir, it is the well-stated policy of the government to discourage progressively the use of kerosene. We are trying to encourage state governments which come to us for quotas to try not to encourage kerosene, because we want to take our brothers and sisters, especially our sisters and mothers, onto cleaner fuels. You know how kerosene prices react under particular situations, but I particularly doubt whether the increase in the last 1 week or so has any is a direct offshoot of what is happening on the Russia-Ukraine front. It could. I don't have the precise listing. I'd be happy to look into it. Insofar as gas and oil prices are concerned, as I said, even though the international price has shot up from something like $84-85 dollars a barrel, today it was, I think, close to 111. The concerned oil companies have not passed this on to the consumer. When they will, etc. These are decisions which they will have to take.
Thank you. माननीय वी विजय साई रेड्डी जी. आपका नहीं हो सर. Please.
Sir, in a coordinated move, with other big global consumers such as US and Japan, India released 5 million barrels of crude oil from its strategic petroleum reserves. I would like to know, has the ministry studied the impact of such release from the strategic reserves on the international crude oil prices? If so, whether prices have come down?
Thank you.
Sir, I would like to thank the honorable member for this question on strategic petroleum reserves and the Government of India's decision, if I recall correctly, in November of last year, when we had joined the other consuming countries, particularly, if I recall correctly, United States, Japan, Korea, and one or two others, to permit a limited release. And I think we had released about 5 million on that occasion. At that point, the prices were not as volatile, the international market, because that was well before the military action between Russia and Ukraine, which started on 24th February. On that occasion, yes, the release had some sobering impact, but you will agree, sir, and through you I want to inform the honorable member that for countries like India, which have limited strategic reserves, it cannot be a solution, a panacea. So on a second occasion, when the consuming countries through the IEA, that is the International Energy Agency, decided to do another release, I think of a total of 60 million or so, but at that stage, India had signaled an intent and a support, but we have not done the release. Sir, releases from strategic reserves can have a limited impact in given situation, but when the international market is so roiled as it is today, high prices, I think it's limited.
Many members, House stands adjourned to meet at 2 p.m. Thank you.